Fingers crossed this works. Alright, I'm live, guys. Hello. Let me know in the chat if you can hear and see me, as last week was quite an issue. So, first off, before I get started, my name is Jess. Welcome to Thrifting is My Beach. This is my weekly show called ThredUP and More. After a few months, I will probably need to rename it. As you know, there have been quite a few changes within ThredUP's policies, and as far as resellers, it's just no longer profitable for us to make money, at least in my situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, Chick Picker. Okay, so you guys can hear and see me. That's awesome. Okay, so that is amazing. Thank you so much. So today is November 19th of 2020, and I started selling on ThredUP in June, and I would buy things for like $1 or $2 and flip them on ThredUP. I don't know, I made quite a bit of money in the beginning, but then they started making changes and there have been several glitches. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. My name on Instagram is also Thrifting is My Beach. I made like, I don't know if you want to call it like a meme or whatever, and called it Glitch Up instead of ThredUP, because let me tell you, there's like another minor glitch that happened this week. Hey everyone, thanks for hopping over. And so I'm just gonna dive into the glitch, right? And it's not a huge like deal, but it's just like, it's frustrating. So I'm just letting you guys know about this glitch. I reached out to customer service and how it's resolved, or how it's going to be resolved, and if it happens to you, what to do, because you need to pay particular attention to your kits and the amount of money it says that your potential payout is, okay? Okay, so the glitch that happened, and I noticed it last night, my last kit that I sent got there on October 14th. I had expedited processing and it just got processed yesterday, November 18th. I did still get charged $8 for expedited processing, so they cut it in half. I'm not going to throw a huge fit over it. I'm just kind of done, like, I don't know. I'm picking and choosing my battles with them because that seems quite minor. So they finally got my kit processed, and I sent in a lot of my kids' nicer clothes. Like, when I mean nicer, I mean like Gap. You know, all these things that I probably got like at yard sales or thrift stores, so it's not a huge deal, but I'd rather donate them, or I was going to donate them, so I just kind of wanted to test it out. Hey Alicia. And so I was only supposed to be getting like $1 per item, when previously, when I sent in my kids' clothes before, I was gonna make $5, and so I raised my price to the max. As long as you sent your items or your kits to ThredUP before November 9th, 2020, your raising of price or whatever is not opted into that. So, in case you're late to the game, was it last week or the week before? ThredUP had this huge announcement that if you raise your price from what they initially set it at, 50%, above 50% of their price, you are going to be charged a $5.99 fee per item if you want to reclaim that item, if it does not sell within the 60 to 90 day window period. So I just want to clarify that, because there's been so much confusion, and yes, it is so confusing. And thank you to somebody recently who shared with me when they raised their prices. It does not show you when you raise your price the percentage of, if you raise it a certain amount, you know, like they don't say, okay, you reached 50% of our price, you're going to incline a $5.99 charge. Like, that person didn't see it on their account. And so I find that super weird, and I feel like as sellers, ThredUP should throw that out there to everybody. When you raise your price, this is what's going to happen, because I think on the back end, if somebody doesn't know about that up front, they're going to be very upset when they go to reclaim items. So let me know in the chat if you guys have had recent kits. I know Purple Boutique, yes. Have Chick Picker or Alicia, have you sent in kits and had them recently processed? Okay, so slime videos and more. Why I started making these changes? I mean, we don't really know. They didn't flat out tell us, but it's expected that they weren't making enough money versus all the time they were putting into doing reclaims. And I mean, there's a whole other scenario for why they're making these changes, but they're going to become a public company next year, and so I believe there will be additional changes in the future. When they initially made this company, they did not make it for resellers. They made it for people to send in their personal items from their closets to pretty much just discard and not really want to make a profit on it. So things have changed, and resellers kind of figured out, oh my goodness, like I can make money. And when did they were doing automatic payouts. I can't remember when those stopped. Was it a few years ago, or was it just a year ago? I can't remember, but they've had several changes, and a lot of people have jumped on this ThredUP bandwagon, and they noticed it, and so they had to make changes for their business. So this is where we're at. That was the glitch of that I noticed. Okay, so my kit was processed last night before I went to bed. Luckily, I checked my email and I saw that. Otherwise, my kit would have went live, and I had some designer pieces in there that I paid like $5 or $6 for, which is somewhat, I normally pay like $1, $1.50 per item. So I did pay up for these items, but I'll tell you why. So my kit was processed last night, and I went in to adjust my prices, and I maxed them all out. And I didn't pay close enough attention to what my payout would be. I just raised the price, and I double check that I raised my price and that I hit the save button, because there have been a few times where I raised my price and I forgot to hit the save button, so it actually went up for bidding at a very low price and somebody bought it. So, okay, the thing that I didn't notice until today when I went in to see my kit when it was going up for bidding was that my payout was very low. So, for instance, I had an item that was for sale for $99.99, and normally the payout is like what, $50 some or $60, and it was only 20 some, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. And so I looked at my other listings and noticed, oh my goodness, this is really bad. Like, they didn't mention a change in the percentage payout that you would be receiving as a seller. So, hi Jay Wonders, thanks for joining us. I'm just talking about ThredUP and what I've been experienced with the minor glitch for payout estimates. Okay, so I of course went to social media. That's where I always go, because our reseller community is amazing, especially when there's an issue, sharing what we know and stuff. So I went onto there, and it seemed like quite a few of you guys were having the same issue. And if you have this issue, don't go by what somebody is telling you. It's always great to, yes, like, get that guidance and be like, awesome, that's great. But it's also nice to kind of get that confirmation through customer support and hearing it straight from the source. I mean, things can get construed, and you just want to make sure you know the actual facts. And sometimes customer service is like, so I actually had the crazy option today to do the live chat feature on ThredUP, which I haven't had available to do for probably 2 months. Okay, so I had this live chat option. So I waited a couple minutes, and I got the notification saying, okay, nobody's been available, you will be sent to email. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I wasn't even going to do that. I was going to hop onto Twitter, because Twitter is so much faster than getting a response from email. So that's just a little tip for you if you're trying to reach ThredUP in a quicker manner, to don't email. Like, just don't. At least in my experience. Okay, so they told me that they were going to look into it, and that wasn't good enough for me. Like, that was a very generic answer. But before I got to the correct customer service person, I clicked the correct topic for clean out questions. You know how you have to select so you get sent to the right person. I actually got sent to somebody that was not trained in seller questions. So she let me know that, and she redirected me, and I waited almost 10 minutes, and by then I was about ready to give up. So I messaged again, and I said, am I still being transferred? And within like 30 seconds, the new person that was able to help me hopped on, and they said they were going to look into the matter, and I told them that my kits were going live in 30 minutes, and that I wanted it resolved today. And they said that they would get back to me by the end of the day. And I asked them also if my items were to sell before this issue got fixed. And they clarified that if an item sells and your payout amount is incorrect, that they will pay you the additional payout. However, you have to look. They aren't going to automatically fix it for you, at least from what they told me. So today is on a Thursday, and they said they're going to fix it by the weekend. So whatever that means, you know. So I'm just letting you know that if you sell something between now and the weekend or whenever they fix this glitch, that you are going to have to email customer support and let them know to adjust your payout, okay? So that is the whole scenario. A couple people on Instagram also confirmed with me, you know, that's the response they got as well. So moving on, I'm going to let you know my payouts from ThredUP. Like I said, I haven't sent anything in for like a month, and normally once your kits stop processing, your sales kind of decrease over time because they become older listings. So last week, a week and a half ago, when the huge policy change with pricing and stuff on ThredUP, I went through and I changed all my pricing so I could just make $6 to $10 on each item, which is still profit for me because I do pay so low. On the higher end items, or items I know that I could sell and make $30 more myself, I didn't lower it too much because, you know, I would rather sell it myself. I don't mind having a death pile. I have a death pile currently, and if we go under lockdown, which there is a good chance, yes, Megan, oh my goodness, go and watch my show from last week where I read along with you guys pretty much and tried to explain the crazy ThredUP policy changes. And hi Annie, and I will note that I was a little, I don't know, I have ADD, and I try to tell you guys that because the ADD really affects my personality and how I respond to things initially. I'm impulsive and sometimes irrational, and so sometimes I don't respond appropriately. However, as resellers, we do have a right to feel upset. We have a right to express our emotions, and that's simply what I was doing. So I'm going to move on and let you guys know about my payouts this week, okay? So, and it seems like it takes forever to get paid out now. Before, they would give you a date, which I loved. I love looking forward to that date. And have you guys noticed that, and I don't know why, but on most of my stuff, I'm not getting a payout date anymore. And it's just frustrating to me because it's like, I kind of look for it and I don't really see it. So let me know in the comments or in the chat, are you guys seeing like payday? I don't see it until I've actually been paid. I have a couple things that should be paid out. Yeah, Megan, make sure you look into that. Okay. So I have a pair of Clarks, you know, like the comfort shoe. They actually do pretty well on ThredUP, as well as the Born, like BORN brand. So the Clarks I got for $1, and I sold them, and they went full price. I think they sold for like $94.99, and my payout was $54.19. The next item I got for free. It was called Giddy Up. It was like a puffer vest. It was plus sized as well on ThredUP, no matter the brand. And the payout for this Giddy Up vest was $16.86, so it was pure profit pretty much. Next, I have a Gap casual dress. It was like a simple black maxi dress, I think, and I got it probably for $1, and it sold for $15.40, or I'm sorry, my payout was $15.43, which is pretty good for Gap. Yeah, Erica, isn't that weird? It's like, why can't they give us dates? Because I don't know, I feel like we should know, and it just seems a little fishy to me. I don't know, just different things in their system is constantly changing. So okay, and I also sold a new brand to me. I haven't ever heard of it. I got this shirt based off of Style, and I think I paid $1 for it. It's called Melloday. Yeah, Melloday, Melloday, and it was just a top. I typically stay away from tops just because their payouts are lower and resale value is lower unless it's a higher end brand. Okay, so Rhonda, you're saying the payout date shown or not shown is, it depends if you're in the app or not. Okay, I will have to look into that because I do everything on the app just because I use my phone for work, so I'm always on it. So I will look into that. Oh, hey Alicia, thanks for joining us. Okay, also I have one more payout and then I'll move on. The last item, I am completely shocked because I don't have the best luck selling formal gowns myself, and so I sent this into ThredUP. It's Alex Evening's dress. It was new with tags. It retailed for like probably $150. My aunt-in-law gladly and happily donated it to me, and it was like a mother of the bride or groom of the bride dress. It was beautiful, and I sent that in, and it sold for almost full price, I think, and I got a payout of $69.38. So I love that kind of payout. Okay. Oh, no, that's fine. You can catch up tomorrow, Alicia. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, and, so yes, I already told you about my latest kit that I got charged for the expedited was $8 and not the $15 or $16. Have you guys had kits processed that were supposed to be expedited, but they weren't within their 3-week time period, and so they didn't charge you the full amount? Because previously they told me that they would refund me the full amount if it was not done within the amount of time, and then they only partially refunded me. And so it's $8. I'm not going to throw a huge fit. Like I said, I'm just trying to move on from ThredUP and look at other ways to make money. Okay, so I kind of shared a little bit of this on my Instagram over this last week, but I wanted to also share everything with you guys, and in the future I will give you guys tutorials, tips, and tricks for this new place to sell clothes. And I've had great luck with it so far. It is called shoptrilling.com. I had never heard of it before, but I want to let you guys know it's for vintage clothes. Okay, so anything from like 2000 and earlier you can sell on there. Shoes, clothing, and accessories. No children's clothes, just adult clothes. Yes, they did change the expedited. It used to be 7 days, and then I believe 6 weeks ago they changed it to 3 weeks. So yeah, that's when I decided to stop sending clothes in, or sending things in ThredUP. Okay, so it's shoptrilling.com. I'm going to type it into the chat so you guys know how to spell it. This company is exactly 2 years old, and I dug up some like history to share with you guys, and I actually reached out. So far, I am very pleased. You have to understand it is only a 2-year business, and they are small. They're actually based out of LA, out in California. Yeah. So I actually, you know what? I need to go into my messages and thank the person that mentioned shoptrilling.com to me, because I love it so far. It is a website where you sell vintage clothes. It's comparable to Etsy, but I think it's, I don't know, I feel like things can be found easier, and I will let you know why. Because I've been selling on Etsy since January of 2020, and I love Etsy. I have 160 items currently up for sale, and at first, I did start with a really small store, and I finally got it to like 160. In total, I've only had 18 sales on Etsy. So if you sell on shoptrilling.com, you can actually have your Etsy listings transferred to also be cross-posted to shoptrilling.com, and you are assigned a regional representative that's kind of like your assistant, and they will streamline your listings from Etsy to shoptrilling.com. So I have had my store up and live for 5 days, and I've made 3 sales and made $190. Hazel Hearts Vintage, also I found out through Instagram, has been selling on there for a few months, and she likes it. She's been doing pretty well over there, and I haven't heard anybody mention it on Instagram, and so I don't know if it's just such a small company or if people just haven't really shared anything. So shoptrilling.com is not an app. They're working on it, but I tried YouTubing it, like how to do this, how to do that, because it's completely different than all these other reselling platforms. I could not find anything, guys, like nothing. And so I think this will be a great opportunity for me to hopefully help somebody, because I had to teach myself and reach out to my regional representative. Her name is Lisa. She's amazing. They are very personable, and we communicate via email. They respond really quickly, and they're very professional. And when you first go to the site, I actually had a hard time navigating the website, because all you can do is see like shop, I'll have to do a tutorial on how you apply, because I think I reached out via email to apply. You cannot just go on and put your stuff up for sale. You have to kind of go through a little, I don't know what the requirements are, but they asked for any social media. They asked for your current stores that you have for sale. I think they want to see what you sell. I mean, you find out a lot about a person and their business by social media, so they just kind of want to check you out, which I love. I feel like that's great. So, yes. So, like I said, it's comparable to Etsy. So you go back and forth with emails a little bit, and then you can decide if you want to move forward or not. And I was like, well, why not? There is no listing fee. There is no subscription fee. They have a flat 10% commission fee. So if you sell something, you will get 90% of the sale. They pay through PayPal. So you have to take into consideration PayPal fees, which is what, 2 to 3%. I can't remember quite. But I mean, that's pretty much with every other platform except for Poshmark, because Poshmark, you all know, is 20. So I didn't know, it did take, so I applied 2.5 weeks ago, and it did take time going back and forth. And then you actually, when you have to read their like step-by-step list of how to list, because it is so different than all these other platforms. It's not super simple, and I'll have to go into other videos, but they, you download your CSV, which is all of your listings from your Etsy store, and you simply email it to your regional representative, and they put it all up line for you. Facebook Marketplace. Yes, I love Facebook. Like, I make weekly sales on there. I do mostly local sales, but I'm also cross-listing using List Perfectly. If you guys don't know about List Perfectly, you should look into it. It has greatly helped me have, multiple platforms, and so I have multiple streams of income, because let me tell you, sometimes eBay is like crickets, and then sometimes Poshmark is like crickets. And if I get a sell on Etsy, it's usually between $50 and $150. I sell things for crazy high on Etsy, but my pricing from Etsy to shoptrilling.com, I didn't change the price, and things have been selling at the Etsy price, which is nuts. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you guys do decide to look into shoptrilling.com and you do decide to move forward and start a store on there, give them my name. You can either give them my real name, which is Jess Cargill, or you can give them Thrifting as my beach, because that's my shop name, that's my Instagram name, that's my YouTube name. So, and I don't know what the kickback is for you guys, but they did let me know that I would not get any fees taken out if I make sales within the next 10 days, which is great. Vintage plush and electronics, Megan. Yes, that's interesting. I have done vintage electronics, but I have had issues with it not working properly when the person gets it, and it costs so much to ship that I didn't have them ship the item back. It happened to me a couple times. Or sometimes I didn't have the right equipment to test it. So yeah, vintage electronics, you can make great money if you know what to look for. A couple weeks ago sold a Handycam night vision Sony video camera for $200 that I got for $5 at a yard sale. So there is definitely money out there. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the 3 sales I've had on shoptrilling.com. And so the first one was for $50, and it was for this dress. It was, I don't know if it was like 80s. It didn't look 80s, but it was a formal dress. I've had it for like a year and a half, and I had it on all the platforms. I think it's gorgeous. I'm guessing my picture for it was not the best, because I've had it so long. My pictures have gotten better and better over time, and finally sold it for $50 on there, which is what I had it listed for on Etsy. And so that's great. My first sale that happened, was it Monday, was actually an 80s, weird, not weird, but it was an 80s goose sweater. So there's like actually geese on it. You know, the 80s geese that like people would dress up and put hats and clothes on them? It looked like that. And it was hand knit. I mean, it was cute. Yes, Tom, I love yard sales too. I'm sad that Illinois has them for such a short period of time during the year. And so this goose sweater sold for $65. I had it listed on all of my platforms. I think it had 14 watchers on eBay. I run a constant sale on eBay for 15 to 20%, so that sweater did get marked down to, was it $45? Or maybe $40. And it sold for $65 with like in less than a day of being on this Shop Thrilling site. And the next item that sold was today at 3:40 p.m. You receive, when you sell an item on shoptrilling.com, you receive a notification via email. So you need to check your email. They handle shipping. So they send you a label. It's kind of like Poshmark, right? But they do shipping completely different than Poshmark. It's by weight. So when my items transferred from Etsy to shoptrilling.com, my weight didn't go with it, and so I actually need to go back in and send in all my weight with each item to let them know, because the other option you have is when you make a sale, you get your shipping label, but if your shipping label is incorrect, you reply back to the person that sent you the label and they change it to the proper weight. But that has been the issue with all of my sales except for this last one. So I sold, was it like a 60s dress? It was a floral, for $75. I had that listed down to $42 on eBay, guys, and I've had it listed for probably 2 months, not too long, and I sold it for $75. But here's the kicker. I did not know this, like complete news to me. So like I said, I got the email notification at 3:40. Luckily, I checked it right at 3:40, and they actually offer expedited shipping, which I was not aware of that, and they wanted me to ship it out today. My post office closes at 4 o'clock. It was 3:40 in the afternoon. I have 3 little kids. That means that I would have to get my item, package it, get all my kids in the car, and get to the post office within 20 minutes. I live in a very rural area, so luckily my post office is just a few blocks down the street. And I felt very pressured, and so I was able to do that, but I did reach out to customer support, Shop Thrilling. It's always actual people, and it's the same person, so like they know what I'm talking about, and they would make note of that I actually don't want to do expedited shipping because I ship every other day, and with my lifestyle it's just not possible for me to get to the post office to deliver one single item with all my kids. So that's that. But they are a small company. They are making changes as they go, so you just have to keep that in mind. Okay, now the history. Like I said, this company has been running for 2 years. It's based out of LA. And on the shipping labels, it doesn't show your name or your address. It actually shows shoptrilling.com, and it shows their address, which is like Hollywood, whatever. And it's very interesting because there's not a whole lot of information. I didn't personally find a whole lot of information on their website. Maybe I was looking in the wrong spot. So I went to, like I said, I tried going on YouTube. Hardly found any videos. Like I didn't find anything on how to sell on there. But I did find an interview with the CEO and co-founder of shoptrilling.com. And her name is, and I could be saying this wrong, but it's Sheila, and her last name is Kim Parker. It's hyphenated. And she actually went to Harvard. She's a graduate of Harvard. Very intelligent, very driven in her career. She did several things, major things, but she became a working mom, and she didn't have time to go to thrift stores and look for vintage, so that's when it came into her head to start shoptrilling.com. And what I love about it is that she is supporting small businesses by letting all of the resellers sell their vintage pieces on her platform or website. And fun fact, she is a female and a black female, and her grandparents were actually the first small business owners to open in North Carolina. And so she, I think that was great information, and I'm glad that she is kind of passing along and passing it down, supporting small businesses, because during this whole pandemic, it has greatly affected small businesses, more so brick and mortar stores. I don't know, oh, thanks Lance, thank you for joining me. So let me know. I'm guessing most of you don't have brick and mortar stores and you're purely online. I have not noticed a negative effect except for maybe during the election and maybe the first few weeks when we were under lockdown initially back in March. But overall, I haven't seen a huge effect on my sales. If anything, I've seen an increase in my sales because people don't want to go out to the store. So let me know in the comments, have you seen an increase or a decrease with this whole pandemic? But moving forward, I think that this, as long as they move in the right direction, I think this platform can be very beneficial. I am strictly only sourcing vintage pieces unless it's designer, which I live like in the sticks, and so I find vintage quite easily. And so I have decided to sell vintage and continue to grow my vintage over all the platforms. So let me guys know, do you guys sell strictly modern? I also sell hard goods. Like, I seriously, guys, sell everything. Last week I was talking about how I sold female condoms that I got for free. You know, I mean, why not? They're brand new, sealed in the box. So now I'm going to show you a few of my mistakes. So I pick up everything. Like I've said, I love selling vintage, but I'll pick up modern if I know I can make money on it. But I'll show you something I picked up recently, and it was at a local Goodwill and the store was closing. I thought these were mini Melissas because it was like a month ago I found 3 mini Melissas at the same store, and I've yet to sell them. I don't know if I have them marked up too much or if they're not as desirable. Mini Melissas is the little girl or little kid version of the Melissas, and they're known for having the rubber style of shoe, and they are scented, which is crazy. Like, they're actually scented. So I got these. I thought they were adorable, absolutely adorable, and I paid $5 for these. And the store was getting ready to close, so I just grabbed them. I was trying to look, you know, at everything that I could, and I went to photograph these today, and I'm like, are you kidding me? They make fake mini Melissas, guys. Yeah. Do you see it says mini said right there, plain as day? The hardware has a little M here, and the bottom is designed exactly like the real mini Melissa. Even the inside, which you won't be able to see, but it says mini said and it's in the same font. I mean, they're just dupes, right? So I'm sad I can't sell them, but on the bright note, they are one, so my daughter's in a size 6, and these are size 7s. So by the springtime, she'll be able to wear these cute little rain boots. I can't believe I fell for that. So I've been reselling for 4 years. I've been a thrifter my whole life, and I'm still making these mistakes. So, you know, it happens. Yes, vintage, there is so much to learn about vintage. You honestly have to do your research. You can't just ask somebody. You have to go into Google. You have to go on to, is it vintageguild.org or .com? I can't remember. They have tons of knowledge on there. Or join some local some Facebook groups purely for vintage clothes, because there are a lot of seasoned sellers that have tons of knowledge. Or YouTube. I love YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my other mistake I made. I love supporting other sellers, buying from other small businesses, and I was actually on somebody's Instagram Live, which I normally don't do because I try to work as much as possible. And, you know, TJ's Virtual Corner Vintage, it sells. Like, it's, especially with the younger crowd, it's becoming a thing. Like, it is a thing. And so people are wanting sustainable fashion, and it used to be kind of looked down upon, like, oh, only poor people are going to the thrift stores, and it's completely changed. With my generation and the younger generation, it's cool. Like, it's hip, or, sorry, those are really old words. It's sick, it's fire, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yes. Following people that sell vintage, totally, yes. Look out for their keywords, what they're picking up and stuff. Okay, so I was on somebody's Instagram Live, was it last week maybe? and they were selling items, like it was a live sale or whatever. And they were just going, you know, through the rack, and they were mainly selling modern clothing. I don't really know this person, but I saw the pattern, and they called this a vintage dress. And okay, I love the print. I thought it was like a ribbed corduroy. Love the mandarin collar. And it also is like Asian inspired. You see all these buttons down the side. Absolutely loved it. She said there were a few condition items, but that's pretty typical with vintage. I hardly ever find vintage that's mint. So even if you find a vintage piece and there's a blemish on it or there's a loose seam, still pick it up because people will still buy it. Okay, so I was excited to get this piece. It was $20 shipped, and it came in the mail today, and I was so excited to open it, but it's not vintage. It's vintage inspired. So I will be lucky to make my money back. And I will go through the signs of how you can tell it's not vintage. Okay, so the style is vintage style, but it's inspired. So this is not true vintage, and I'll tell you how I know this. The material is very thin. It's not like, when you feel a vintage piece, you can tell it's durable, it's great quality, there's something about it. The fast fashion now, it's cheap material, thin material, like you can just kind of tell feeling vintage and then feeling modern clothing. Okay, so I could tell by the feel. That was my first sign. So then I looked into it further. And the stitching, I don't know how well my camera will focus, guys, but the stitching is modern stitching done by a machine. And a dead giveaway is the zipper. Do you see that zipper pull? That's a modern, cheap nylon zipper. And then the button actually does look vintage, but the elastic is not. If this was old elastic, it would be like all stretched out. And I thought this was homemade, or I think they said it was homemade, but there's some loose stitching and it's not homemade. I think it's like a boutique. And so unfortunately, like I said, the pattern is beautiful and the style is, but I would be lucky to make my money back. It is long, like full length, and it is a decent size. I'm going to model this, and I'm just going to try to sell it myself. So like you can just tell, like these little buttons are aluminum cloth covered, and they just feel so cheap. So cheap. So cute style, but no. So unfortunately, I probably going to be discouraged now to buy online unless I personally know this person is like a legit vintage seller, and then they know the value of their piece and they're not going to sell it for super cheap or whatever. But I'm just trying to branch out. So that was another oops. Have you guys had oopses this week? If you follow me on Instagram, I posted in my stories so last night I went into Walgreens. I think my husband wanted Mountain Dew, and so I always try, like, I'm such an addict, guys, for finding something to flip. Let me know in the comments, do you guys try to flip like wherever you go? Like, for instance, when you go to get groceries at Walmart, do you go down the clearance aisle and do you scan the barcodes to see if it's, like, I don't do that hardly ever because I'm not really into retail arbitrage, but I have done retail arbitrage at Walgreens, like in the toy aisle, and I did make money doing it that way. I don't sell on Amazon, maybe in the future, but not right now. And so I went down the school supplies, like office supplies aisle, and looked for their orange stickers at Walgreens, which is their clearance stickers. And they had these Paper Mate Ink Joy pens. They had all different colors. But the pink ones were originally $2.49, and they were marked down to 19 cents. We really need pens at our house. They seem to just disappear. So I got the 3 that were left. And I was in a hurry to check out. I had to go pick up supper, and it was late. So I didn't pay attention when I was checking out because I had a handful of other items. Didn't look at my total, didn't look at the receipt until last night. I was picking up my food, so I was waiting in the drive-thru, and I was like, oh hey, this would be a good time for me to post about these cool pins that I got at Walgreens in case somebody else, wanted to go get some cool pins for super cheap. And I looked at my receipt, and lo and behold, I got charged full price. And I did double check with the code to make sure that it was for these pink ones, and it did match up. So I had hot food ready for supper. It was late, and I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to wait in line for it to be returned or whatever. So I kept them, and I paid full price. But you know what? These write so well. Totally worth the $2.50. But that's all I had for you guys. It's been 40 minutes. Do you guys have any questions? Like I said, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do more videos on shoptrilling.com. I don't want to jump the gun quite yet because, like I said, it's only been 5 days. And I'm learning as I go. There's not it's not all spelled out for you on their website. You get some information via email, but it's so different. It's such a different experience, but I'm not sure how their keywords play into Google. So when they take your listings from Etsy, they change the title. They make it very simple. It's similar to ThredUP. So you know how when you list an item, sometimes you'll put the style name or the style number, or something about the item that makes it stand out. They don't on ThredUP and on shoptrilling.com, they make it very simple. And so I don't know if that's why I'm selling more, because it's more generic. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out, but once I know more about this company and how my sales are, I will definitely share that with you guys on YouTube if you're wanting to get into vintage. But I have tons of reclaims from ThredUP. It's taking over my basement, and I just reclaimed another 35 today. Next week I'll probably have another 70 probably. And I have a second account on ThredUp that I've had kits there live for over 30 days, and I've made only 4 sales, and I haven't actually received any payouts from those yet. And if I could show you guys my screen for ThredUp, it is so sad. I think I'll do a different video and show you guys all these items I have listed and for how long they've been listed and how many items have sold. It has been it's almost, and I know it's not true, but it's almost like my items aren't showing up that they're for sale or something. It's weird. But like I said, you having a business, you always have to evolve. You always have to make changes. So what's that saying, when the door closes, a window opens, or I don't know. It's late at night, so I'm going to hop off of here, but thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you have a great night, and please be safe out there, alright? Have a thriftalicious day, guys. Bye.